Welcome to another episode of the Live Today Show, where your host, that is me, Dr. Sheri, will take you on another journey for how to live today and every day. The Live Today Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that does three things. One, we provide education to physicians and other healthcare practitioners on how to properly diagnose lymphedema and make them aware of the psychosocial impacts of lymphedema on a survivor's life. Number two, we educate patients about their disease process and the importance of why you need to get treated. And number three, we provide free compression garments to under-resourced cancer patients and survivors living with lymphedema. We are so grateful to CAN TV Channel 21 for continuing to allow us to air our shows right here through their channel so that we can continue to give out valuable information for cancer patients and survivors in general, but then in particular to give added information for where our focus lies, and that is on lymphedema. Now, let me share my screen with you guys because I have some great information. Now, for those of you who are interested in following the Live Today Foundation, please, we want you to make sure that you go out to our website at live-today.org. For more information, we have resources, we have education, we have prevention tips, tons of information. So make sure you go out to our website. Additionally, if you have someone who's in need of compression garments, or you have some additional questions, or you'd like to volunteer with our organization or provide us with resources for cancer patients so that we can provide as much information as we possibly can, feel free to shoot us an email at info@live-today.org. That is info@live-today.org. And you can always feel free to give us a call at 754-220-0234. And if you're on social media, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at livetoday.org. That is livetoday.org. And if you want to catch all of our episodes, past, present, and go ahead and subscribe for future episodes, check us out on YouTube. Just search for us at Live Today Foundation. Now, today, guys, I want to talk to you about managing your lymphedema. And let me stop sharing because I want to come back to me. I want to talk about managing your lymphedema and why it is so incredibly important that you do so. We get to a place with our lymphedema that we feel comfortable and we lose sight on why we need to do what we need to do. And so I think it's important at times for us to kind of go back to, the way things should be, and help us remember why taking care of us, particularly those of us who are living with lymphedema, why it is so incredibly important that we do the right things for us. Because if we don't, I'm telling you, we will be remiss and we will find ourselves missing out on health, and missing out on what's good for maintaining and doing what we need to do. So let me go back to sharing my screen again, and let's jump right in. Here, hit share, and here we go. So we want to talk today about, let me go back. We want to talk today about tips for managing lymphedema. Now, first of all, we need to understand that lymphedema treatment options vary from person to person. right? And it is going to depend on the severity of the disease, and it's going to depend on the cause. There are some individuals who are living with primary lymphedema. They were born with it. It is a congenital defect, if you will, in their lymphatic system. I myself, as a cancer patient, am living with secondary lymphedema. It was caused by treatment of another condition. So when we're talking about managing your lymphedema, and we're talking about treatment may include skin care, making sure that your skin is clean, devoid of burns and scratches, being careful with your cuticles on the affected limb, manual lymphatic drainage to help reduce the swelling so that it is not as severe, especially upon awakening and then prior to going to bed. Gentle massage therapy and light exercises can help stimulate the lymphatic system. Wearing compression bandages, pumps, and or garments are important. So if you have been instructed by your physical therapist and or your physician to wear these garments and to utilize these various forms of treatment, do not stop them without speaking with your health care physician and or your healthcare practitioner, because wearing the compression bandages, the garments, and using the pumps may also help prevent additional fluid buildup from accumulating in your tissues. And in addition, there are some individuals that have been prescribed certain medications to help reduce the inflammation. Now, I am not aware of a medication. There's some people that say, oh, well, just take a diuretic or a water pill to help get rid of the fluid. Well, the lymphatic fluid is not just water. So taking diuretics is not going to help your lymphedema. But there are some homeopathic medications, if you will, or supplements like lipoic acid that has shown to reduce the lymphatic buildup and help reduce some of the pain. So talk with your healthcare practitioner about that as well. Then you may also be prescribed medications to help prevent blood clots, because remember, with this additional fluid in your arm, there is what we call stasis or a settling. It's just sitting there. And so we need that dynamic blood flow in order to prevent clotting. So your physician may or may not prescribe medications to help prevent blood clots. And or if for some reason you do get a cut on your skin anywhere on the affected limb, you may or may not be prescribed antibiotics in order to prevent infection. So in addition to all of these treatment modalities that may or may not be recommended by your physician and or physical therapist, there are some other things that you can do that will help you manage your lymphedema. So let's jump in. And I'm going to do this in a two-part series because it's a lot to take in. So I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 steps during this show, and then we're going to follow up again with the remaining items on another show. So here's some tips that can help you cope. First of all, communicate with your healthcare team. I can't tell you how important this is, because remember, better recovery occurs when lymphedema is discovered early. So it is very important that you tell your doctor if you experience any symptoms. Now, if you recall on previous shows, and if you haven't watched them, go back and watch my show on preventing lymphedema, and or check out our website at www.live-today.org, because when lymphedema is caught early in stages 0 and 1, when it's detected early, you can receive simple at-home self-care, meaning wearing compression garments for 12 hours a day for 4 weeks, and some simple massage modalities, and you don't have to end up with chronic lymphedema like I did. And so if you are a new cancer patient, or you're just now starting treatment, or you've already gone through treatment, you haven't developed symptoms, talk to your physician and ask him or her, do you have a SOZO device at your facility? Do you have a lymphedema prevention program? And if you have a SOZO device, how can I become a part of your protocol for testing and ensuring that if I develop lymphedema, it can be detected early on when it is reversible in stages 0 and 1. A Sozo device looks like a simple scale. You stand on it bare feet, bare hands, 30 seconds. It measures your LDEX score. You do it every 3 to 4 months for a period of time, at the beginning or prior to your treatment start, and then you'll be monitored frequently thereafter. So as soon as there are any signs or any way detecting that you're developing lymphedema, you can receive simple at-home care and not have to live with chronic debilitating lymphedema. So I can't stress how important it is for you to talk to your healthcare team. Ask the question, do you have a lymphedema prevention program? And what is it? What does it entail? Do you have a Sozo device? And if they say yes, then how can I become a part of your routine follow-up so that I can ensure that if I develop lymphedema, it can be detected early in its reversible stages. So again, I want you to also try to monitor your activities and determine if there's a particular activity that causes the condition to worsen, meaning making the swelling worse or feeling like there's a tightening in your hand, even though you may not see visible swelling, it feels tight or it feels painful. So monitor those activities where you may have these additional symptoms. And also make sure you follow up regularly with your healthcare team to see that compression garments are well fitted. So if you are already diagnosed with lymphedema at a stage where you wear compression garments, don't just receive your first set of garments and then be on your way and think that you're set for the next few years. You need to have your compression garments changed every 6 months, generally every 6 to 9, but it is usually recommended every 6 months so that it maintains the compression that you need in order to treat your lymphedema. Now let's go on to the second step. Stay alert for signs of infection. Poor drainage of the lymphatic system may make the affected limb more susceptible to skin infection that's called cellulitis. It gets red, it's warm, tender to the touch. So try to check all areas of the arms and legs, if your legs are affected with the lymphedema, daily for signs of infection. And that may include redness, pain, tenderness, heat, swelling, and or rash, as well as a fever of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And you may have chills associated with it. If you develop any of these signs or symptoms, report these warning signs of infection to your doctor immediately. Okay, so stay alert for signs of infection. Kind of get in a habit, whether or not it's when you're in the shower, when you first wake up, if you're in the habit of stretching when you first get up, prior to meditation, whatever it is, set yourself up on a routine such that you are checking and looking for each little individual thing on your arm, hand, or fingers. For me, it's my arm, hand, and fingers. For those of you that don't have the hand involved, it may just be your arm. But look at it, check it out, because a lot of times you can bump into something or get a little scrape, never feel it, but it's there. And it could be a source of information if it's not detected, cleaned, kept appropriately, covered, and given the proper attention that it needs. So look out for signs of infection. Next, wear well-fitting compression garments. Can't stress how important this is. If you have been given the directive that you need to be in compression garments in order to control your swelling, wear well-fitting compression garments, because compression garments may help prevent swelling by squeezing the lymph fluid through the remaining vessels before it actually builds up. Now, compression stockings, sleeves, or bandages, they must be carefully fitted and monitored to apply the right pressure while avoiding too much tightness near the top, right? So you don't want it squeezing so much up here at the top that now I got swelling that's building up here. There's no place for the lymphatic fluid to actually properly drain. Okay, so it is very, very important that you wear well-fitting compression garments. Now, the compression garments may also help to support the affected limb during strenuous activities or during air travel. So maybe you haven't been instructed, like myself, to wear a compression garment all the time. But you have been instructed that if you are exercising, you're doing something with weights, you're grocery shopping and bringing in a lot of groceries, or you're cleaning the home, um, or you're on a plane where altitude is going to affect swelling and your fluid levels in your body. If you're instructed to wear your compression garment, wear your compression garment. Um, and but the only caveat um, is if you have an open wound or poor circulation, you do not want to throw on a compression garment. You're going to want to have that open wound appropriately addressed and treated. And if there is poor circulation in that limb, you're going to want to get that addressed prior, because simply throwing on a compression garment in either one of those conditions would be bad news. Trust me, you don't want to see pictures or even know about what it could look like and feel like. I'm just telling you, don't do it. Okay. Next step, protect the affected area. I guard my right arm, my hand, and fingers. I mean, almost with my life. If anything looks like it's coming that way, I am hands off. And it has taken me a while to get used to doing that because I'm right-handed. So I naturally go in with my right hand. So you need to be careful. You need to protect it, guard it. Because if you don't, bad stuff can happen. All right. So you want to try to protect the affected limb from scratches, sores, burns, insect bites, or other irritations and injuries. Your body may respond by making extra fluid. So you're going to want to keep the skin clean and dry to reduce the risk of infection. Wear protective gloves while doing housework and gardening. Avoid exposure to extreme cold or prolonged heat, which may be associated with increased fluid buildup, swelling, or chapping or chafing of the skin. Now, living in the Chicagoland area, winters can be brutal. And so I can't stress how important it is. Sometimes, I have to wear men's gloves extra large in order for my hand to fit. Um, and sometimes I need to wear two sets of gloves depending upon what I'm going to be doing outside. For some reason, I have to clean my car off because of a lot of snow, or help shovel myself out because of a lot of snow. You need to make sure that you are protecting that limb. So if it's extra gloves, if it's sometimes I have to say no to certain outdoor events if it's extremely hot and extremely humid, because my arm does swell significantly with high levels of humidity and heat. And it also swells and is extremely painful when there are extreme temperatures of cold. So you have to be judicious in caring for your affected limb. It changes your life. And I get it. And other individuals that are not living with lymphedema don't understand the limitations that this condition now places on your life. But unfortunately, there are certain situations we can't continue to respond, or live like we used to, because it will be detrimental to us. And so I'm just trying to give additional tips to help manage your lymphedema if you have already been diagnosed with chronic irreversible lymphedema. Gotta protect the affected area. And then limit certain activities. Avoid muscle strain, vigorous activities, repetitive movements, heavy lifting or pulling of the affected limb. Avoid prolonged lying, standing, sitting, or crossing the legs on the affected side. These activities may increase the pressure in nearby blood vessels, which may lead to increased swelling. If possible, try to avoid having blood pressure taken, blood drawn, or injections given on the affected side as well. Now, that last part, there is one school of thought that says taking blood draws and doing blood pressures in an affected arm makes no difference. I guess I'm just old school, And if I have another extremity that can be used, why not use it? And that's just the way it is. Usually, with a very swollen arm, it's very difficult to find blood vessels anyway. So, why even subject yourself to having them try to find blood vessels in that affected limb? And so, again, all of that is protecting that limb. And as you can see, certain things that we may have normally gone about doing, going for a 5 mile walk on a daily basis, that we may find have some limitations because as we walk, we are finding that our arm is swelling. Or if you have lymphedema in your leg, walking that long period of time causes severe swelling. And so we have to make modifications in our lifestyle when we are living with chronic lymphedema. And so I hope that what I have been able to provide to you on today has been helpful. And one last tip that I want to give is maintain proper nutrition. If you didn't do it before, hopefully you changed some of your eating habits when you were diagnosed, and hopefully you'll find yourself being more conscientious about what you're putting into your body as you're going through treatment, because proper nutrition is key. Eating a well balanced diet may help the body tolerate cancer treatments, fight infection, and rebuild tissue. So try to maintain a healthy weight, since obesity may increase the chances of swelling as well. Avoid foods high in salt and fat. And consider asking your physician to speak with a registered dietitian, because that person may be able to help develop an appropriate meal plan just for you. um, I I wish I had known, and I wish that the technology had been available when I was first diagnosed, uh, to be able to detect early stages of lymphedema. If I had had the opportunity to have my lymphedema detected in stages 0 and 1 when it is reversible, I would have been living a very different life right now. Um, well, I guess probably I would not have had this show and I wouldn't have had the foundation, because it may have not been a forethought for me, because I wouldn't have had lymphedema. So I guess all things work together for the good. But I am here now. I am living with chronic lymphedema, but you don't have to. Cancer patients and cancer survivors that are out there that have no symptomatology of lymphedema, you have the opportunity to get yourself into a lymphedema prevention program so that you can be properly monitored and not have to develop chronic debilitating lymphedema. That's first and foremost. But those of you who are living with chronic lymphedema, as I am, there are things that you need to do to take better care of you. And I hope that some of the tips that I have provided to you today, I hope that you're doing all of them. I hope that they were all just a reminder for you. But if they were not a reminder and it is the first time you are hearing it, please grab hold to it. Listen to what I've stated. As a physician and as a fellow patient, I live by what I am instructing you to do, and it has made a difference in my life. Now, for those of you who want to find out more about the Live Today Foundation, to be a help to us, to volunteer, to get you some extra resources. If you want to be a guest on our show because there's a new technique, or you have a vascular surgeon that has been doing work with lymph node transplant, and you think that individual would be great to be interviewed on the show, please come on, reach out to us. Fill out that contact us form on live-today.org. Shoot us an email at info@live-today.org, or give us a call at 754-220-0234. And again, remember, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at livetoday.org. That's livetoday.org. And please find all of our past episodes and subscribe so that you can get notified when new episodes appear. Look us up on YouTube. Just search Live Today Foundation. Guys, you have been absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until we're able to actually get back into the studio and be able to really allow this to be an interactive program where you can call in and I can take your questions and your comments. But again, the Live Today Foundation is here to be a blessing and to provide joy and inspiration to cancer patients and survivors living with lymphedema. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Live Today show. And remember, I'm Dr. Sheri, and I want you to be present, take charge of your life, and live today and every day. Until next time.